Have you ever pondered the crucial role that network-enabled devices play in information security? If that thought hasn't crossed your mind, it's about time it did. Let's unravel the importance of network-enabled devices in the realm of InfoSec. Picture these devices as the sturdy backbone of a secure network. They are the sentinels, constantly monitoring and detecting threats, ensuring your network remains a safe fortress. But it's not just about having these devices on your network. It's about how they are deployed. Think of them as pieces in a complex game of chess. Each piece has a specific role and position, and it's their strategic placement that can make or break the game. Similarly, in the world of information security, the right deployment of network-enabled devices can fortify your network defenses, making them impervious to cyber threats. So, the deployment of network-enabled devices is not just about plugging them in, it's about securing your network. The first step in deploying network-enabled devices is assessing the current network infrastructure. It's like taking a snapshot of your digital ecosystem. This includes understanding your existing network setup, from the servers humming in the back room to the devices connected at the very edge. Now, why is this important? Well, you can't fill in the gaps if you don't know where they are. So you need to identify any areas that might benefit from the addition of network-enabled devices. This could be a blind spot in your security or an area of your network that's underperforming. Network mapping and auditing tools play an integral role here. They help you visualize your network, making it easier to spot those gaps, and they can provide valuable insights into your network's health and security status. Remember, understanding your network is the foundation of a secure deployment. Once you have a clear picture of your network, the next step is device selection and configuration. So let's dive right in. The devices you choose should align with the needs of your network. Consider factors such as performance, scalability, and of course, security. For instance, you might need a router that can handle high traffic volumes, or perhaps a firewall that can thwart sophisticated cyber threats. Remember, the goal is to meet your network's unique requirements while mitigating its vulnerabilities. Now, once you've selected the devices, it's time to configure them securely. This process is often overlooked, but it's a crucial part of bolstering your network's defenses. Let's start with default credentials. These are provided by manufacturers for initial setup, but they're often well known and easily exploited. So change them immediately. Create strong, unique passwords for each device and keep track of them in a secure manner. Next, ensure that your devices are running the latest firmware. These updates often contain important security patches that can protect your network from newly discovered threats. So make a habit of regularly checking for and installing updates. And finally, disable unnecessary services. Every service running on a device is a potential point of entry for an attacker. If a service isn't required for your network's operation, it's best to turn it off. Choosing the right devices and configuring them securely is half the battle won. So let's move on to the next step, deployment and integration. With the devices chosen and configured, it's time for deployment and integration. Deployment is not just about plugging in devices and hoping for the best. It's a strategic process. You need to consider the layout of your network, the roles of each device, and how they interact with existing systems. Think of it as a chess game. Each piece has a unique role, and strategic positioning can make all the difference. Integration, on the other hand, involves getting these new devices to communicate effectively with the existing systems. It's like learning a new language. Both parties must understand each other to work harmoniously. The goal is to create a seamless network where data flows smoothly and securely. Now, once the devices are in place, it's essential to test them. Testing is like a dress rehearsal before the big show. It helps ensure all devices are functioning as intended and that they are secure. Remember, in cybersecurity, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So test, test, and test again. But here's the thing. Even after successful deployment and integration, your work is far from over. The digital landscape is ever-changing, and new threats emerge daily. That's why monitoring and maintenance become a continuous process post-deployment. Deployment isn't the end of the journey. It's merely the beginning of a continuous process of monitoring and maintenance. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned about deploying network-enabled devices for InfoSec. Our journey began by unraveling the significance of network-enabled devices in information security. These devices, ranging from servers to routers, smart devices to firewalls, form the backbone of our digital infrastructure. They play a critical role in maintaining the integrity, confidentiality, and availability of our data and systems. Our first step in the deployment process involved an in-depth assessment of our current network infrastructure. This crucial phase allowed us to identify potential vulnerabilities, evaluate our capacity, and understand our network's unique needs. Remember, a well-conducted assessment is akin to a well-drawn map, guiding us accurately through the terrain of InfoSec. Then we delved into the world of device selection and configuration. We learned that not all devices are created equal, and their selection should align with our specific network requirements. Configuring them correctly is just as important. A misconfigured device can open up a Pandora's box of security issues. Hence, it's imperative to follow best practices during configuration. Next, we navigated the waters of deployment and integration. Here, we discovered that the careful implementation of devices and their seamless integration into the existing network architecture is vital. It's like fitting together pieces of a puzzle. Each piece needs to be in the right place for the whole picture to make sense. And let's not forget, this process doesn't end with deployment. To ensure the ongoing security of our network, regular updates, monitoring, and maintenance of these devices are non-negotiable. It's a continuous journey of adjustment and improvement, much like steering a ship through ever-changing waters. Remember, the security of your network is only as strong as the weakest link. Make sure that link isn't your network-enabled devices.